Hello everyone, it's Brett here, Lionheart84, and it's a lovely sunny Sunday. It's the 6th of September, so end of the first week of September. Pleasant day today, and I'm just going to do a very quick 2-minute talk on and have a look at my figs to see how the fruits are getting on and if there's any likelihood of any main crop figs this year. Now, one of the points I made out in my videos before is I've never had any luck or experience getting main crop figs here, but I have had a couple of the people who watch my videos point out to me that they are in the London area or southeast of the UK and have successfully got main crop figs on their trees in late September or early October, and I'm always delighted to hear if someone's succeeded in doing something that I haven't been able to do or thought was probably impossible. My own experience of figs is that they tend to stop growing by the middle of September as the nights cool down here. I mean, we've already had in the last week temperatures down some nights around 50 degrees Fahrenheit, about 10 degrees centigrade, and I find personally that my fig trees stop growing when the nighttime temperatures drop that low, and they start to cut the sap flow off to the tips of the branches and the figs. Now that helps with obviously the wood lignifying, but it also stops, in my personal experience, the figs growing. And you'll see when we have a look at it, I've got a large quantity of figs which would be main crop figs on my tree, but unless we get a freakishly warm September and early October, I would say that my fruits are a good 6 weeks away from maturity, and the plants have probably only got 2 or 3 weeks growing season left to them, so the chance of me getting figs is 0. I think this can change if you've got your fig tree in a very warm sunny position, perhaps up against a brick wall in a warm part of the UK, and also as the tree matures, as you get a much bigger, stronger tree, it's likely to have a lot more vigour and energy later into the season, and therefore you have got a chance of it producing figs. But from my personal experience, main crop figs aren't very viable here without a greenhouse, or if you've got one of the extremely early varieties such as Madeleine de deux saisons, which obviously called Madeleine of the Two Seasons. That's a particularly early fig, and I haven't got that variety, but I believe that one's more inclined to produce brabers in July, which means you've got a good chance of getting the main crop figs early in September rather than my varieties, which would probably produce main crops in October if we got enough warm weather. So I'll just pause the video for a second and we'll have a quick look at the figs on my trees so you can see what I mean. We'll quickly start with my largest plant, which is, well, we thought it was Rouge de Bordeaux, but it now turns out it's either Brunswick or possibly Long Du, the length of August. Now, this has got some quite decent sized figs on it, whether or not I can show you with my hand the size of them. Probably about 1 inch diameter, and it's got quite a few figs up in the tree developing on the branches of about that size. Sorry if it's out of focus, it's not easy to see in this light and get the thing to focus. Anyway, you get the point. Let's walk around here and have a look at some of these lower ones. It's got quite a large quantity, probably at least 2 dozen fruits, this sort of size, about 1 inch across. Now, from experience, and certainly from last year, these figs are probably, looking at the size of them and the hardness of them, they're probably about 6 weeks away from maturity. And we'll have a look over at some of my other smaller potted figs as well. This one is this is Goutte d'Or. Again, same problem. Figs are about, if you look at my fingers, figs are about 1 inch across. There's a lot of them on the tree. And the other ones at the back have got smaller ones, again 3/4 of an inch to an inch across on all of my fig trees. Now these are all main crop figs. These figs were formed on the current year's growth. Now unfortunately these figs are a good, I would say, 5 to 6 weeks of reasonably warm weather away from reaching maturity. Now unfortunately, like it or not, certainly in my garden, these plants seem to stop growing and start to head into dormancy about the 3rd or 4th week of September. As soon as the temperatures, nighttime temperatures, drop into the low 50s consistently, it starts to put the fig into a state of hibernation. I'll walk up in here and have a look at the ones at the other end of the garden as well. It's a great shame because, you know, as you can see, this plant here, this one's I think this one's the brown turkey. As you can see, the plant's absolutely covered in small figs, but as you can also see from the leaves starting to yellow and the fact that there are no green stems at the end of the branches, they've virtually fully lignified, i.e. turned woody, ready for winter. You can be fairly sure that the fig has slowed its growth right down and the sap flow stopped. So unfortunately that also stops the swelling of the figs. So it's quite likely that these figs won't grow anymore. They might grow a tiny bit, but I would think that in the next 3 weeks the figs will start losing all their leaves. And in my garden and with my size plants, unfortunately it means I don't get main crop figs. Now obviously if you had these plants in a polytunnel or greenhouse, or if you had a very hot walled garden and your fig was against a warm sunny wall, it is possible that you would get these main crop figs to ripen. And as I said, I've certainly had a couple of my subscribers have pointed out to me that they have had main crop figs on their plants in late September or early October. Unfortunately it's not something I've experienced yet, and I'm in the southeast, so if you're in the Midlands or the northern parts of the UK or colder states in America, you probably won't get your main crop figs to ripen without a greenhouse, but which means that you concentrate basically on growing the brabers, which is perfectly acceptable because you can get perfectly decent braber figs. So I just thought that would interest people, just to see the size that my figs have got to by the beginning of September. This is the tree that I had one huge braber off, and obviously I'm hoping to get a lot more brabers next year. I'm trying to prune it and allow it to grow to encourage the brabers, because that's what I'm relying on in my garden. It's a shame because they look lovely, but I just don't think they're going to get 6 weeks of warm weather to get that to get these figs to a stage where they'll ripen. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Much appreciate it if you give the video a thumbs up, share it with anyone you think's interested in or grows figs in the UK. Please remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and of course hit the bell if you'd like to get notifications of new videos as they come out. I'll catch up with you all soon. Brett out for now.